Well, hi there, how are you? This is Big G coming at you tonight. It's Wednesday night, I believe. Yep, to think there. Thought I'd pop up another wee video, see if we can get some thoughts, some laughs, and see if we can find some meaning. Now, I've decided to change a couple of things on the videos going forward. Can I ask you at this point, if you haven't subscribed to please subscribe, and it just makes me feel more big-headed that people are watching. But it'd be good if you could. It just makes it easier for you to get the videos, and gives me a bit of encouragement. I find these quite difficult to do, although I do enjoy them, and I'd hope that they're helping someone in some way to look at life. So remember, pop up a subscription to it, free charge, and if you want to leave money, that I'm happy with that. And if you want to leave comments for and against, I'm quite happy with them as well. I understand that some of the context might not be suitable for some, and they might not enjoy it. So if you pop up a comment and I can get back to you. Now, at the end of each video, I always have the religious section. So what I'm going to do from now on is when we get to that, I'm going to give you the warning that it's now for the religious bit. So you're pre-warned that if you wander into that bit, then you're going to get the religion coming at you. It's part of my life, but I want to make you aware of when it comes. The other thing, if you do hang on and pop into the religious section, which is generally about 5 minutes or so, we are having a giveaway. Yep, we're giving something away. Now, I'm not known for giving away money, which is slightly untrue. I generally do it to keep friends. Never worked, I'm on my own. Anyway, we're going to give away a copy of Mulan. I thought if we can maybe do something with a run up to Christmas, maybe help people out for kids or so on. So a copy of Mulan is on the go here. And what you have to find out is I'm going to quote a verse in the religious section, and you've got to find it and then pop it up as a comment. And next Wednesday we'll have a look at, and we'll pick one and see who's won the video. Okay, fair enough. So that's a wee copy of Mulan. Find the verse in the religious section, pop it up, and whoever's up there, we will do a draw, and someone will win a copy of Mulan. Hopefully it would be a nice wee gift for, I don't know, your kid, for nephew, niece, whatever, eh? So it's just something different. So there you are. Again, religious section, you have been warned. Stuart Henderson, I have listened. So you're pre-warned. I just want to take you back to 1996. I had to think there, by the way. When the nurse says to me, "You have a beautiful baby girl." This was when Chloe was born. Now, it was very difficult to see this beautiful baby little girl because she was covered in shit and all the crap that was in that little bag that she came out in. So once that's all scrapped away and they give her a good wee makeup over with a sponge, you get to see this beautiful little baby and marvel at how gorgeous it looks, even when most of the time they have big head, or big ears, or big eyes. So they're not entirely beautiful, but they're beautiful to you when you see your little baby. And it's great. It's a great moment. Especially when the baby's planned and the baby comes, and it's just like, oh, your beauty, a new life has arrived. This is part of me, and you then start on that journey. And it's to begin, it's a beautiful journey you look forward to. When you have a child, though, it's like pass the parcel when the family come in. They're all squabbling for, oh, I've only had a minute with the baby, or I've only held the baby for 30 seconds. So you fight your way through that, trying to not want to give them a slap on the side of the head, and you spend the next half hour to an hour without the baby yourself because they're also flipping possessive. But thankfully they get chucked out and you get maybe half an hour left, so then you get to look at your wee baby and start the baby talk. Would you? It's almost like talking to your dog. It sounds terrible, but that's what it's like. So you have the baby talk. And it's just beautiful. You're giving it hugs and kisses, and you're just showing this wee affection to this thing. I was absolutely terrified that I was going to drop Chloe, but the way she's acting these days, I wonder if I didn't. Joke. I remember actually, when I was first married, we were away up in Motherwell, I think it was, and one of Michelle's relatives have had a baby and let me hold the baby, and I kid you not, I was beside the wall and I was really nervous holding this baby, and I actually dropped the baby and it battered its head off the wall. I could have died on the spot. Thankfully the baby's fine. Doesn't seem to have any brain damage, but oh no, that lives in my nightmares. I'm petrified these days to touch a baby in case I batter it off the ground. I'm pretty sure that's what happened to me with my mother. She just let me drop. And she wasn't sure what end to slap because both ends looked like an arse. So, but never mind, we've changed since then. But the excitement of having a baby is fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of firsts when you have a child. That first night when you're up at 2 and then 4 and 6, you don't mind whatsoever. It's full of enjoyment. You get to see your baby. You get to spend the quietness with your little baby. You're changing. The baby doesn't mind. Feeding the baby, you don't mind. It's just all amazing because it's all new and you get to spend time with your child. There is, as I say, it's a period of firsts with the baby. The baby's first words are always dada. Now, the mama will try to convince you that's absolute nonsense, but it's no, it's always dada. And it's always a great wee contest to say, oh, that baby loves me more. Probably completely distresses and depresses your partner, but never mind. Dada is what comes first. And then the first steps. I remember with Chloe when I was standing in the kitchen and Michelle shouted Chloe through and she comes wandering through. Her first walk to me was absolutely glorious, picking her up, and it was amazing, you know, just to stand there with the wee hands, and she looked so fragile. You think it was like a wee glass doll thing, it would fall over and smash, but her first walk is something you don't forget. The first birthday is usually ridiculously expensive. You spend a fortune on them, and at the first birthday they know nothing, they recognise nothing. Toys are just squeaky and things to throw. So, but then the first birthday is there's a big deal made about it. There's the first day going to nursery. I remember that myself, walking along there. It was quite good in the fact that there were so many mothers there. And they all looked broody, and I was actually quite happy to give them another child if they fancied it. Unfortunately, they never fancied me. But going to the nursery was quite exciting but daunting, because you're actually, you know, giving your child away for a couple of hours and you just spend the next 2 hours worrying they're okay. Then there's that first day at school. They have their wee suits on and their wee bags with their food and their school bags, and they're standing there howling their eyes out. You're standing staring up, howling your eyes out. Nah, she's not going in, I'm taking her home. Till eventually she goes in and the teacher meets her, and she walks in there quite happy, meeting pals, and I was still standing at the grate howling my eyes out. My wee girl had grown up, I couldn't handle it at all. Then there's the first boyfriend. I don't know if you ever had this when they were at primary school. You know, he's my boyfriend, I love him. It's 7-year-old. They never dated, never saw each other, never phoned each other. But never mind, this was the one. Daddy, I love him. 7-year-old, it's funny and cute, and thankfully it's not real. Then we have the first day at high school. The 12-year-old, they're moving into this big school with different people from different areas. I was absolutely petrified. Having been through school myself, as we all have, and having to endure bullying, I wasn't sure what she was going to get. And I remember sending her off, and it was just like sending her out into the big bad world, and I wasn't happy with it at all, but over time obviously they settle in. Then you get that first report card, don't you, after first year, and you're all smiles. You know, your child is developing well, she has a cute understanding, she's sociable, she smiles, she takes part in all that guff that you think, oh magic, my wee angel, she's prospering well, she's doing great. She's still your wee angel in your eyes. She can do no wrong. She has just eclipsed you in every way. You see yourself in her, you see all your good points, and you just think, I could not love anybody else the way I love my baby. And that is how you feel. Then your world falls apart. It's as if someone takes a switch on the back of your child and just flicks it overnight. It seems to happen overnight. At midnight, the change just occurs. It's a bit like a person, a werewolf. Because this is what happens to your kid. Because your kid, at that point, becomes a teen. And all hell breaks loose in your life. Your life's changed forever. How do you cope? It's the big 13. People laughed at you when the baby was born and you said, oh, I would love this baby forever. You sniggered in the corner, just you wait till it hits its teens. And then when it hits its teens, you have this what the feck moment. You're like, where did my child go? And I'm pretty sure that 99% of parents completely understand this, because once they hit those teenage years, oh my goodness, is there a change? It's like they've caught the devil. He's sitting on both shoulders, and it's one of those things, I don't understand what's going on. You start to hyperventilate, your breathing goes funny, you're at the doctor looking for anxiety tablets, stress tablets. How do I deal with this? What do I do? If you could put together an A to Z book, you'd probably make a fortune on how to deal with a teen. Anyway, the teenage years, The attitude begins. Would you do this for me? Can't be bothered. Then it's the rolling of the eyes, and then it's then it's this. Why me? It's always me. The slamming of the doors is always a good one. The battering of shoes on the back of the door as they're in their bedroom. They're constant crying, constant upset. They're constantly angry, which you just can't understand their moods. And then for the very first time, your little angel, this little cherub that you brought into the world, tells you to fuck off, Dad. You are stunned. You can't even reply to that. You are so disgusted at what came out of that child's mouth. Then, the lifestyle. You smell her jacket one day, it smells of nicotine. They protest, it wasn't me, Dad, I wouldn't touch that, it was my friend John at school. Wasn't me, honest, Dad. Okay, let that pass. Then you smell the alcohol. Oh, Dad, it's my new perfume, you bought me at Christmas, remember? It really does smell like alcohol, does it? And you're sitting thinking to yourself, you're lying, little shit. Okay, well, let that pass. Maybe there is a funny scent in the perfume. Then you go to check your wallet to pay the takeaway. Money's missing. How dare you accuse me? How would I do that? I'm the only one here. Exactly. Then the 10 PM curfew that's set, you must be in, getting dark, comes and goes. 10 becomes 10:30, 11, 12, and then the anxiety sets in again. Then it comes home with a boyfriend. First impression, complete bell end. But Dad, I love him. He's not good for you. You don't know him like I do. I know him differently. He comes over aggressive, but he's very loving. Yeah, right. If he comes near the house, I'll break his legs. So what do? They wait till you're out and sneak him in. Helps themselves with their food, and goodness knows what they get up to. Don't want to know. Dad, can John stay overnight? Dad, can he fake? The partying starts. They get to that age where they just want to go out and party with their pals. You can't go. You don't do as you're told. You're going nowhere. I'm going, and if you try to stop me, put a hand on me, I'll phone the police. This is your wee cherub, your 14-year-old, eh? They come wandering in, out their skull. What did you take? Only weed, Dad. I think it should be legalised. 14, that's what they're thinking, eh? And then they come home absolutely rat-arsed. What did you drink? Oh, this, that, Gothenburg, lager, vodka, don't want to know anymore. I can tell it's on the bathroom floor. They're sick everywhere. They're sick everywhere except the toilet where they should be sick. And you just want to give them a good hard stoating. And then comes the one that maybe, if you're lucky, 16, 17, 18. Dad, I'm pregnant. What do you think, Dad? He's dead, dead, dead. That is the worst thing. When they come in and they're young and they're pregnant. It's kids having kids, isn't it? I always think back to what people say to me, and now when people have babies, they're showing off this little one, and oh, this is my little angel, and I've never known love like it, and I'll always love this one, I'll never be upset with her. And then you're thinking to yourself, wait till the teens, wait till the teens. It changes everything. It's funny that actually during your child as it's growing up, you're always comparing them, aren't you? I mean, you're picking out the good spots that the child has, and any bad spots you're pointing to your partner, eh? You know, she's very intelligent, she's a bit thick, that's your side, isn't it? Oh, she's got a really cute face, she's got a big bum, that's a bit like your mum's, eh? So you're always comparing your child, and you wonder why they get confused. It's amazing that any family does actually stay together when you consider the personalities of each individual in the house. Even if there's only three, it's three different people with three different views, different personalities trying their best through love to connect to each other, which can be extremely difficult. Some numpty came up with this slogan that drives me up the wall. Families that pray together stay together. That's a pile of crap, that is. I know many families who don't pray together and they're still together, and they're actually probably far stronger than those who do pray together. I heard that years ago and I really wanted to throttle the guy. Something that I generally quite like doing a lot, but you know, it's one of these annoying phrases that sticks in your head. It's like an annoying song. You can't get rid of it as much as you loathe it. But families are a good place to be. If you are brought up into a loving home, caring parents who devote themselves to you. It's a secure place to be. It's a place of love and respect for one another. It's a place of positivity, of confidence building. And as a youngster who goes through teenage years, if you have parents encouraging you on at every step, even failures, you know you can pick yourself up from. So families can be a great place for confidence building, something that we all need in life, to know that we have people who stand behind us, but they've put into us this stability and security that we can stand on and we can come back to when things get difficult. Your families are a place that can change rapidly overnight. Families can split up and fall apart. There's so many things in life that can change as we move forward, even as parents trying to look after our kids. Things could be going well and then redundancy comes into the picture. So there's less money. Dad's maybe at home more. The more that people are together, they can just, bounce off each other in good times and they just seem to annoy each other at other times. Bereavements, the death of your parents is very hard to take, that your dad maybe become the top person in the family now and he has all the pressure to look after the family and try and keep the family together. Moving home's a big one as well. Maybe if your kids are in their teens and you decide to move away for work or for a different life and they're being thrust from their friends, it can be a very difficult time, especially when your child doesn't want to go. And I think if we're honest, we can understand that. If you've built up a little life for yourselves, to be wrenched from that is very difficult and can bring a lot of resentment from the child to the parents. Lack of communication is one of the biggest ones. We just don't seem to talk anymore. It's too easy to throw on the telly, play on the game machine, sit on your phone playing Candy Crush, and communication becomes non-existent. I mean, it gets to the point, which is blooming ridiculous, that you're in the same room with your daughter and you're actually texting each other to talk to them. And they're just sitting on the other wall. I mean, we've done that. It's ridiculous, but that's what happens. You just stop talking to each other. And in-laws can be the biggest grief in anyone's life. If you've ever had them, I've had two, didn't like any two of them. They can be a nightmare, always backing up the wife against you, or maybe your parents are thinking you're the golden boy and that she's no good for you. So all these stresses can come into your family life and can be very disruptive and can actually break families. Good families, solid families, can go from being good to actually quite bad. A lot of jealousy and resentment in life. And not all families are blessed. Not all families have that security. Not all families have that area of love and confidence building. Not all families are the picture postcard that we get shown on TV, especially at Christmas time. There's a lot of brokenness. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of damage in people's lives. How we treat our children and the damage that we put into their lives going forward. How we were treated as children and how we are living with the effects of that. It can be very difficult. I remember somebody saying to me that they had set this barometer for themselves as well. I've never actually laid a hand on my kid. And that seems to be the bar that everybody goes by these days. Oh, at least I never laid my hand on them. And I remember thinking to myself, well, that's maybe true, but however, you've slapped, you've punched, you've kicked, you've assaulted, and you've abused your child in every way emotionally. And emotionally, the damage has been done. And as that's set in a kid, as a kid is growing and developing, if you pop that damage, that negativity into a kid's life, they're going to struggle with that the rest of their lives. That damage sits in there and it stirs. And at times when life's difficult for them, will rear its ugly head. When they're needing confidence, they'll remember of the wickedness that was said to them. They'll be emotionally drained in quite simple situations. So, okay, maybe you didn't physically hit them, but maybe they've been so emotionally damaged that they're adults who are just waiting to fill up depression wards. You know, it's fine to say I didn't do one thing, but emotionally, it's probably the hardest thing for anyone to work through and for anyone to get by. Talking from personal experience and talking from experiences of others who have had emotional abuse growing up and how their lives have been so affected that we just can't contribute to society. Emotional damage goes by fairly unnoticed because it can't be seen, can it? We can't just look and see, oh, like a broken leg or a broken arm. We can't see the emotional damage. But that damage is in that kid, and it's so destructive that that child's life and personality has been changed forever. Maybe you've been brought up in a good home, and I hope you have. and you've received good praise and confidence building, and that's brilliant. But their kids have been brought up in brokenness, abusive relations, physically, sexually and emotionally, and the damage that is done to these kids can be irreversible at times. There can be times where the child is so stressed that they decide to take their lives. I've saw that a few times, teenagers and young people taking their lives because of the stress of failure in their lives, and it's so hard. Now, it's sometimes difficult to understand what people go through and how what things are said to them can damage them so emotionally. So I had a wee look online. It was one of the NHS sites, and the top 18 quotes that damage kids and repetitively continue to damage them, and even when they're older, maybe their 50s or 60s, they're still reminding the words that their parents say to them, which have destroyed them emotionally. Here are 18 phrases, some of the worst. Some I've heard myself and some that are absolutely shocking, but I'm going to read them slowly and individually so that you can understand or get an idea of how this would damage a child if he hears it every day. Number one, why can't you be like your brother? You're the problem in this family. You'll amount to nothing. You're a loser. You're stupid. I wish you'd never been born. It's your fault Mum died. It's a pity Dad didn't use birth control. I've got to love you, but I don't like you. You're a mistake. You weren't wanted. It's no wonder nobody wants to be your friend. I lost interest in you at 12. I can't stand the sight of you. You're brain dead. You would be beautiful if you weren't so fat. You're so ugly when you smile. I should have put you up for adoption. Can you imagine that being said to you as you're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and it's repeated each day or each week or over a month, it's said 4 or 5 times. Can you imagine how you feel as a child, exactly what you think of yourself? If you're called stupid by a parent who you believe loves you and cares for you, then you're going to think you're stupid through the rest of your life. It always makes me laugh that parents who look at their children who have fallen into drug use or alcohol use, who are abusing prescribed drugs, who become an abuser or who mixes drink and drugs, that they blame the child. Maybe it's time they started to take responsibility and to look at the way they treated their child and understand why they've ended up the way they are. And if you're a decent parent, you won't let go of them. You will look at yourself and you will take responsibility and pick up the broken pieces, because kids being treated by any abuse growing up will need help. And the thought is, how the hell do you expect your children to turn out if you're continually negative, continually putting them down, continually hurting them? I guarantee that for years to come, and maybe the rest of their lives, they're always going to struggle. There's an author of a book called Dee Breston, American lady, and the book she wrote was He Calls You Beautiful. It's a commentary on one of the books of the Bible. This is what she says with regards to, she does a prison ministry, and this is what she says of what she's encountered in the prisons. Many of these women in prison have never experienced earthly love, either from parents or husbands. A very high percentage of them have experienced horrific physical and sexual abuse. Do you see the spiral there? When you put in negativity, when you put in hurt and damage, they will live their lives hurting and damage other people, and to the point maybe they'll end up in prison. What you sow, that kid will reap, and that's not fair. That's not fair at all. In the same book, there's an account of a lady called Julia, and she explains her life, and she says this: I've always been searching for love, for the sense that I was beautiful to someone. I lost so many mother figures as a child. At 11, I turned to alcohol and then men. I was willing to do whatever, just to get the feeling of being loved or being thought of as beautiful. The men pretended to love me so they could use me and abuse me. I did things of which I am ashamed. Shortly after I was incarcerated, I looked in the mirror and screamed, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Julia wasn't born as a child, as a youngster growing up, believing she was hated. She believed she was hated because people told her she was ugly, she wasn't beautiful, you aren't loved, you aren't wanted, you're stupid, you're ugly. That's where it comes from. It comes from what people have put in her, not what she has put in herself. And Julia's not the only one. I think if we're honest, we can see that our prisons, mental health institutes, our AA meetings, or addiction and STI centres are full of people who want loved, who will do things in order to get someone to be attracted to them, in order to find love, in order to find a place, or at other times to wash away the pain and of the abuse that they has as a child. 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds still dealing with the damage of the emotional abuse that their parents thought was funny. It isn't funny. Even your silly little quirky things like I used to get introduced as the fat son. It's not funny. They all sniggered back then. It's not funny. I don't care about weight now, but it's like, it sticks in your mind. It's still there. And then you add on top of that other things that happen throughout your life. So these things aren't funny. They're not funny in the least. One of my favourite films is a film called Gone Baby Gone. It stars Casey Affleck as a private investigator. Now, this mother's child had been kidnapped, and Casey and his wife, was it Michelle Mahonican or something? I can't remember her name, but she's stunning. Anyway, they start looking for the kid, and they find the kid. Now, there's a dilemma, because the mother is an abuser of alcohol, of drugs. She sleeps about. She used to leave the kid unbabysitted. The baby would be there on its own all night and all morning. So she wasn't a great mother. She cared more for herself than for her child. So come the end of the film, Casey has a dilemma. Does he return the little girl back to her mother, who quite frankly isn't fit to look after her, or does he leave the little girl with this family that the little girl has found herself with, who love her and care for her and treat her with respect? And that's the dilemma of the film. Casey decides to take the baby back to its natural mother, and come the end of the film, you see her getting ready, tarted up, short skirt, boobs hanging out, she's swirling away in alcohol, she's dabbling in the drugs, she's going out, and Casey comes in and she's actually asking him to watch the little girl. Now, he's met her twice, even though he's searched for her. I think he met her twice. And this is what kids have been put into. This is what kids have been brought up in. They've been brought up in emotional abuse. They've been brought up in neglect. They've been brought up in hatred. They've been brought up knowing they weren't wanted. And yet we still expect them to turn out to be model citizens. It's ridiculous what our kids go through. And I think we see ourselves when we look at the social and we read our papers that a little one has lost its life again. You have to ask what the hell the social is up to. But then at the end of the game, it falls on the parents. You know, what the hell are the parents up to? You know, why did the parents have this child if at the end of the day the little one lost its life? That should never happen in our society. There are so flipping many of us on this planet. These things shouldn't happen, but sadly they do. These things in Gone Baby Gone, they aren't just films. This is people's lives. It happens every day. I'm pretty sure if someone could bring up an A to Z book of parenting, that it would make a fortune if it actually worked. But every kid's different. Every adult's different. If we want our kids to be confident, strong and happy, we need to continually look at our behaviour in front of them, towards them. Do we tell them we love them enough? Do we encourage them? One thing my father never did was say, I loved you. Maybe he didn't. Maybe that was the point. But we need to be putting positive things into their lives. Imagine the character of a child who knew each day that they were loved, that they had security, and that they had a family who believed in them. Imagine the positivity of that child and how that child could develop from those core values. Let me read certain things of loving parents that have said to their kids. I love you. You're the best thing I've ever done in my life. There is no one bad thing you could do that would ever change my love for you. Love from a stepdad. I didn't have to love you. I got to love you. You may not have my eyes, but you have my heart. Love for a son. Son, you're in my heart. Son, you're the boy who stole my heart. Love to a daughter. You are my dreams come true. I haven't been a perfect parent, but the one thing I will never regret is bringing you into this world. And just normal little sayings. You're beautiful. You are my world. I adore you. I love you. I couldn't live without you. Positive love and care will bring kids out stronger and healthier with confidence in their abilities. And that's what we need to bring into our children's lives. I feel as a father, I said things I wish I hadn't said, and I see repercussions of them. So let's look at our lives, and let's even today tell our kids we love them, because they fulfil our lives. They are what we wanted in life. My kids were no accident, and they were brought in love and care. And sadly, as parents, we do things wrong. But let's change that. Let's apologise. Let's tell our children we love them. Let's show them that kindness and that care. And let's confidence build them as well. Let's not say these ugly things. Let's show them good things, beautiful things. And pray that they will give them a solid ground. This is the religious bit. This is the verse you need to find. Okay, children are a gift from God. Don't get me wrong, there's many times when I wanted to go back into the past, maybe grab the time portal from the Avengers or Doctor Who's TARDIS and go back and actually put my children back in the womb. Sadly, we can't do that. Life is full of ups and downs. Yet from this verse we are told that the promise that they're a gift from God, and love He wants you to give us something, so He gives us our own children. I want to read this just before I close as well. Isaiah 49:15. Can a mother forget nursing her child? Can she feel no love for a child she has born? But even if that were possible, I will never forget you. The love of God, that He created you and that He'll never walk away from you. He'll never say ugly things to you, call you ugly things, treat you negatively or treat you bad. Your parents will. Some of your parents will walk away. Some of your parents will forget the fact that they born you. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, although it hurts, we have a Father who loves us. He seems distant. He frustrates us. He feels absent in our lives. At times he seems unimaginable. That face just seems like a fairy tale. But the Word of God tells us that He's real, that He's love, and that He won't forget us. And that's what we need to find. John 3:16, Romans 10:9, as I keep saying, things to look at if you're considering looking at Jesus, because He is the way. And that's how we find Him. I hope this has helped you in some way and maybe spoken to you, and I just pray that it would help. Again, find the verse, let me know where it is, book, chapter, verse, and then a week time or so, if we've got 2 or 3 comments off it, then we'll decide on a winner. Are you a winner? I never am. Anyway, hope you have a good week, and hope this video comes to you and you're well, and I pray that God will bless you. Take care. Bye bye.